The funeral home's carpet was the ugliest shade of burgundy I'd ever seen, but I kept staring at it because looking at Miranda's face might have made me commit a crime. She stood there in a designer black dress she'd probably bought specifically for this occasion, clutching custody papers like they were winning lottery tickets while my husband's body wasn't even cold yet. "This house belongs to his children," she screamed, spittle flying. "I'm taking it for their future." I reached into my purse, the same black leather one Daniel had given me for our anniversary, and pulled out the envelope I'd been carrying for the past 3 days. My hands didn't shake. I'd practiced this moment. "Speaking of futures, here's the life insurance payout notification, $2 million to the beneficiary, me. The kids' trusts are already funded. You get nothing." The sound she made wasn't human. It was something between a shriek and a gasp, like a banshee choking on its own rage. But to understand why that moment was so sweet, you need to know how we got there. I met Daniel Fitzgerald at a coffee shop, which sounds like a romantic comedy but was actually more like a hostage situation. His 8-year-old son Jamie had just projectile vomited on my laptop, and his 6-year-old daughter Sophia was using my research papers as napkins. "I am so sorry," Daniel had said, trying to wrangle both kids while pulling out his wallet. "Please let me pay for everything, the laptop, the papers, your dry cleaning, your therapy." I'd laughed despite myself. Therapy might be necessary. That was my dissertation. His face went white. "Oh God. Oh no. Kids, apologize right now." "It's okay," I'd said, surprising myself. "I have backups. Plus, I study childhood psychology. This is basically field research." That's how it started. Daniel, overwhelmed single dad. Me, Natalie Brooks, doctoral candidate who thought she understood children until she met his. "Their mother and I divorced 2 years ago," he'd explained over coffee, his treat. "Obviously, while the kids destroyed the shop's toy corner, she gets them weekends. I get them, well, all the other time. Must be hard," I'd said, watching Sophia color outside the lines with aggressive determination. "You have no idea." He'd looked at me then, really looked at me. "You're not running away screaming. That's new." I should have run. Everything about Daniel came with complications. The kids who'd been traumatized by their parents' bitter divorce, the ex-wife who treated him like an ATM with visitation rights, the exhaustion that lined his face from working 60-hour weeks to pay for 2 households. But he was also brilliant, a software engineer who'd created several successful apps. Funny, when the kids gave him 5 seconds to breathe, and underneath all the chaos, genuinely kind. Our first date required 3 babysitters, the first 2 quit, and ended with him falling asleep in his pasta. Our second date was interrupted by Miranda calling 17 times because Jamie had a fever that mysteriously vanished when Daniel rushed over. By our third date, I understood what I was signing up for. "She's going to make your life hell," Daniel warned me. "Miranda doesn't want me, but she doesn't want me happy either." He was wrong about one thing. She didn't just want him unhappy, she wanted him destroyed. Miranda Fitzgerald was like a Pinterest board gained sentience and chose violence. Everything about her was curated, from her yoga instructor body to her Instagram perfect life. She'd left Daniel for her CrossFit coach, claiming he didn't support her journey to self-actualization. Translation: she wanted to be an influencer, and a software engineer husband didn't fit her brand. But the second Daniel started dating me, suddenly she remembered what a wonderful father he was, how important family unity was, how the children needed stability. "The kids are confused," she'd text at 2 a.m. Sophia cried herself to sleep asking why daddy loves his new friend more than mommy. "Jamie says you ignore him when she's around." A real woman would understand that the children come first. Daniel saved every text, every email, every voicemail. His lawyer had advised him to document everything. Smart lawyer. We'd been dating 6 months when Miranda played her first big card. She took Daniel back to court for more child support, claiming his lifestyle had improved since he was wasting money on girlfriends instead of his children. "How much does she want?" I'd asked, reading through the court documents. "An extra $2,000 a month," Daniel said flatly, "on top of the $3,000 she already gets." "For what?" "Sophia needs ballet lessons at the exclusive studio. Jamie requires a specialized tutor, and they both need therapy to deal with the trauma of daddy's girlfriend." He'd laughed bitterly. The same therapy she refused to let them have during the actual divorce. The judge, thankfully, saw through it, but the legal fees ate up Daniel's savings. Miranda didn't care. Her new boyfriend, a real estate agent named Chad, because of course his name was Chad, was funding her legal crusade. That's when Daniel and I had our first real conversation about the future. "I can't propose to you," he'd said one night. both kids finally asleep. Not because I don't want to, but because she'll use it against you, I finished. She already calls you the homewrecker to the kids. If we get married, he couldn't finish. Then we don't get married, I said simply, we just live. But living wasn't simple with Miranda around. She had a sixth sense for our happiness and a gift for destroying it. Planning a vacation? Suddenly the kids couldn't leave the state because of their anxiety. Moving in together? The children needed stability evaluations first. Buying a new car? Clearly Daniel was hiding assets. The worst part was watching what it did to Jamie and Sophia. They were sweet kids underneath the trauma, but Miranda's manipulation was poisoning them slowly. She'd send them to our house with spy missions. Mommy wants to know if Natalie sleeps in Daddy's bed. Mommy says to look for expensive things and take pictures. This is child abuse, I told Daniel after finding Jamie photographing my jewelry box. I know, he said helplessly, but proving it in court is impossible. She's too smart, never puts anything in writing, always has plausible deniability. We survived 2 years like that, 2 years of Miranda's warfare, 2 years of court battles, poisoned weekends, and children used as weapons, but we also had 2 years of bedtime stories, homework help, and slowly earning the kids' trust. I like your pancakes better than Mom's, Sophia whispered one morning, but don't tell her I said that. Your secret's safe, I promised, adding extra chocolate chips. Jamie started asking me for help with his science projects instead of calling his mother. Small victories, but victories nonetheless. Then Daniel got the contract that changed everything. A tech giant wanted to buy his latest app. The number was staggering, enough to secure everyone's future, including the kids' college funds. We can finally breathe, Daniel said, spinning me around our kitchen. No more living paycheck to paycheck. No more letting Miranda hold money over our heads. We were so naive. The acquisition went through on a Monday. By Wednesday, Miranda's lawyer had filed an emergency motion. She wanted 50% of the sale price, claiming it was a marital asset developed during their marriage. That's insane, our lawyer said. Daniel created this app 2 years after the divorce. She's claiming he used ideas from their marriage, Daniel explained, exhausted. Says I was working on the concept while we were together. It was a lie, but proving it would take months and hundreds of thousands in legal fees, money we'd have to spend anyway, because Miranda knew Daniel would never risk losing. That's when Daniel made the decision that would save us all. I'm taking out life insurance, he announced after another brutal court hearing. $2 million policy. Daniel, don't talk like that. I'm not being morbid, he said firmly. I'm being practical. Miranda's trying to destroy us financially. If something happens to me, you and the kids need protection. The kids already have trusts from your grandparents, which Miranda can access as their guardian. This is different. This is for you, to fight her, if necessary, to protect them. If she tries to take everything, I was the beneficiary, not because he loved me more than his children, but because he knew I'd protect them in ways their mother never would. The policy was signed on a Thursday. Daniel died the following Tuesday. Heart attack at 38. No warning, no goodbye, just a normal morning where he kissed me goodbye, reminded Jamie about his science test, promised Sophia he'd braid her hair that night, and then, nothing. I got the call at work, collapsed at his desk, they said, nothing anyone could do. The next 72 hours were a blur, calling his parents, telling the children, making arrangements, all while Miranda played the grieving ex-wife to anyone who'd listen, despite having spent the last 3 years trying to destroy him. She showed up at our house the night before the funeral. I'll be taking the children now, she announced, as if they were packages to be collected. They want to stay here tonight, I said quietly. Their rooms are here, their things, their father is dead, she snapped. They need their mother. But Jamie and Sophia were already clinging to me, Sophia sobbing into my shirt while Jamie tried to be brave. They'd lived with us primarily for the last year. Daniel had won that battle at least. Please, Sophia whispered, can't we stay with Natalie? Miranda's face went cold. Fine, one night, but we'll be discussing permanent arrangements tomorrow. The funeral was beautiful. Daniel's co-workers spoke about his brilliance. His parents shared childhood stories. I talked about his kindness, his humor, his love for his children. Even Jamie and Sophia stood up, sharing memories that made everyone cry. Everyone except Miranda, who spent the service texting with someone, probably her lawyer. She cornered me at the reception, in front of Daniel's family and friends. We need to talk about the house, she hissed. Now, really? The children deserve stability. That house is their home. I'm taking it. You can't just. This house belongs to his children, she screamed. pulling out custody papers. I'm taking it for their future. The room went silent. Everyone stared. Miranda had calculated this perfectly, make a scene at the funeral, where I couldn't fight back without looking heartless. But she'd miscalculated one thing. I'd been preparing for this moment since the day Daniel took out that life insurance policy. I reached into my purse and pulled out the envelope. Inside were 3 documents: the life insurance payout notification, the kids' trust fund statements showing they were fully funded through college, and a copy of Daniel's will leaving the house to me. Speaking of futures, here's the life insurance payout notification, $2 million to the beneficiary, me. The kids' trusts are already funded. You get nothing. She snatched the papers, reading frantically. Her face went from red to white to purple. This is fraud. He can't. The children. I'll contest this. Go ahead, I said calmly. Contest away. The trusts are ironclad. You can't touch them for anything except education and medical expenses. The house is mine, free and clear. And the life insurance? Perfectly legal. He could name anyone he wanted. You manipulated him. I loved him. There's a difference. You're not even their real mother. No, I agreed. But I'm the one who helps with homework. Who knows Jamie's allergic to strawberries? Not peanuts like you keep telling schools. Who can braid Sophia's hair the way she likes? Who never missed a school play or soccer game because I was too busy with my new boyfriend? How dare you? How dare I what? Tell the truth? Fight for these kids? Refuse to let you destroy what's left of their stability? Daniel's mother stepped forward then. Eleanor Fitzgerald, 70 years old and tougher than nails. That's enough, Miranda, she said quietly. You've made enough of a scene at my son's funeral. Eleanor, surely you understand. I understand that my son spent the last 3 years of his life fighting you in court. I understand that you tried to claim ownership of work he did after your divorce. I understand that you're here not to mourn, but to grab what you can. The children will be fine with Natalie, Eleanor continued, as Daniel wished, as anyone with eyes can see they prefer. Miranda looked around the room, realizing she'd lost her audience. These people knew the truth. They'd watched Daniel struggle. They'd seen the court documents, the legal bills, the stress that probably contributed to his heart attack. This isn't over, she hissed at me. Actually, it is, I said. Your lawyer can contact mine. But fair warning, I now have $2 million to fight you with. Daniel made sure of that. She left, slamming the door hard enough to rattle the pictures on the wall. The room stayed silent for a moment before conversation slowly resumed. Jamie tugged on my sleeve. Does this mean we can stay with you? I knelt down to his level. What do you want? To stay, he said immediately. Mom's house. It's not home. This is home. Sophia nodded, still crying. Daddy said you'd take care of us if something happened. He promised. Then you'll stay, I said simply. We'll make it work. It wasn't that simple. Of course. Miranda lawyered up immediately, demanding full custody and child support from Daniel's estate. But she hadn't counted on a few things. First, the guardian ad litem assigned to the case actually listened to the children. At 12 and 10, their preferences mattered, and they both chose to stay with me. Second, Daniel's meticulous record-keeping came back to haunt her. Every manipulative text, every false accusation, every time she'd used the children as weapons, all documented and submitted to the court. Third, the life insurance money meant I could match her lawyer for lawyer, motion for motion. For the first time, it was a fair fight. The final blow came from an unexpected source. Chad, Miranda's boyfriend, had been promising to marry her once she got her fair share of Daniel's estate. When it became clear that share was zero, he disappeared, leaving Miranda to pay her own legal bills. I can't afford to keep fighting, her lawyer told mine after 6 months. She's out of money and out of options. The custody arrangement was formalized. I became the children's legal guardian, with Miranda getting supervised visitation every other weekend. Supervised because the judge was concerned about her pattern of attempting to alienate the children from their father's chosen guardian. It's not fair, Miranda sobbed outside the courthouse. They're my children. They're Daniel's children too, I reminded her, and he made sure they'd be protected. From everything, including you. That was 2 years ago. Jamie's 14 now, taller than me and brilliant like his father. He builds apps in his spare time and talks about MIT. Sophia's 12, finally stopped crying herself to sleep, and has discovered she's actually good at ballet when it's not being used as a weapon in her parents' war. We live in the same house, the one Miranda tried to take. I've kept Daniel's office exactly as he left it, except for the coding books Jamie's added to the shelves. His picture sits on the mantel, surrounded by photos of the kids' accomplishments he'll never see. Miranda still has her supervised visits. though the kids increasingly find excuses to skip them. I don't encourage it, but I don't force them either. They're old enough to know who fought for them and who fought for money. Do you think Dad knew? Jamie asked me recently, when he got the life insurance. Did he know something might happen? I think your dad wanted to make sure you were protected no matter what, I said carefully. He loved you more than anything. He loved you too, Sophia added. He said you were the best thing that happened to us after the divorce. All of us? All of us, she confirmed. He said you made us a real family again. We are a real family, not the one any of us planned, but real nonetheless, built on love and loss, protected by planning and paperwork, held together by choice rather than blood. Daniel's life insurance money is mostly untouched, invested for the future. I returned to work after taking time off to help the kids adjust. We don't live extravagantly. We don't need to. We have what matters. Every year on the anniversary of Daniel's death, we visit his grave together. Miranda tried to come once, with a photographer to document her grief. We chose a different day after that. Thank you, I whisper to his headstone while the kids arrange flowers. For trusting me, for protecting us, for making sure I could protect them. The wind rustles the leaves, and I choose to hear his answer in it. Take care of my babies, he'd said in the hospital when Sophia was born. Promise me, no matter what happens with Miranda, you'll take care of them. I kept that promise, with his help, even from beyond. $2 million. That's what he thought our future was worth. Enough to fight any battle, win any war, keep any promise. He was wrong. Of course, it was worth so much more. But the money helped. God, did it help? Especially that day at the funeral, when I got to hand Miranda that envelope and watch her realize that all her schemes, all her manipulation, all her greed had led to exactly what she deserved. Nothing. The house is full of laughter now. Jamie's coding competitions, Sophia's ballet recitals, family dinners where we talk about our days and remember Daniel without the shadow of court battles. I love you, Natalie, Sophia said last week, casual as breathing. I know you're not my real mom, but you're my real mom, you know? I know. Daniel knew too. That's why he made sure that when the worst happened, we'd be okay, more than okay, we'd be together. A real family, protected by love and life insurance.